than 2018 lira crisis, I think, and this will bring more from the policy side, which Erdogan government's popularity could be decreased by the economic from the economic field, I think.
All right, Ember, again, good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for all.
Now, the wealth manager Brewin Dolphin said today that it had attracted more money from clients during the last year than at any point in its history. The company, which traces its origins back to 1762, attracted £4 billion worth of new money in the year to the end of September. That was up from £2.8 million during the previous 12 months. Well, full-year pre-tax profits rose by 16.7% to £72.5 million. Well, joining me now is Robin Beer. He's Chief Executive of Brewin Dolphin. Robin, very good morning to you. Now, you manage money on behalf of not only private clients, but also on behalf of charities and corporates. Where has most of the flow come from?
Well, morning, Ian. And I think the great news from us, not only is it, record flows that we're reporting, it's the fact that that growth has come from, the broad spectrum of the people that we're helping and the broad range of propositions we have. So I think whether that be charities, private individuals, across different geographies, across different age demographics, we're seeing, consistent inflows from across the board. And I think really that's, part of the result of the pandemic. It's been a period of time where people have reflected on their finances. Certainly savings rates have increased as well. And people are trying to work out how, with inflation rising, how they get real returns. So I think, we're very, very pleased, obviously, with our record results, and even more pleased with the breadth of the contribution across different market sectors.
You've put your finger on a key point there, which is that savings ratios improved during the pandemic. There's a big debate going on among economists now as to the extent to which those savings are going to be run down. What do you see people doing over the next 12 months?
I think you're absolutely right. I think inflation from our perspective is a real tailwind. I think people now with, the savings that they've built up really are looking to the future, and that erosion effect that inflation will have on their savings is something that is a concern to them. So again, we're certainly having far more conversations, people coming to us to understand how we can help them in terms of planning for the future over the long term and really delivering real returns above inflation. So I think that that is a trend that's here to stay over the next 12 months. And again, from our point of view, it will help to continue our growth momentum.
Now, you've warned this morning about what you see as coming volatility in the markets. What are the drivers for that, and which markets are you most concerned about?
I think more broadly, some of that is around, yes, there will naturally, we believe, be interest rate rises in 22. I think we also see, as governments start to pull back from some of the fiscal stimulus, and maybe there's some kind of normalization in consumer spending habits. So I think just generally, based on the context of the fact that we've had, a very strong year in the markets, all of that combined, we think there'll be greater volatility. But again, a bit like the situation with inflation, for us, volatility is our friend. I think we're here really to hold the hands of clients and people who need help and guide them on the long term, through that volatility by, investing across a range of asset classes and really give them that smooth, long-term return.
You've also sounded a warning about rising costs today. I mean, that's not only IT, but also wage inflation. Is there a bit of a war for talent going on in the wealth management sector right now?
I think there's wage inflation everywhere we look at the moment, quite frankly. And I think, yes, we have to keep pace with that. So we have to do the right thing by employees, and we're obviously giving pay rises to enable them to keep pace with inflation. I think the other element really for us is on the technology side, is the investment in technology in order to derive efficiencies and benefits, because going forwards, it's not just about the efficiency and the drop through to profitability. I think it's also about client experience. I think what the pandemic has done for wealth management is that's typically a business that's very much paper based, face to face historically. Whereas now I think the demand for consumers is about speed and convenience. So the digital capability, the choice in which they wish to consume those services is going to be very important. So lots of continued investment in technology. And again, that will benefit client experience, but will also help us drop through efficiencies and drop through to the bottom line.
All right, Robin Beer, good to talk to you this morning. Thanks very much indeed for joining me.
Thanks, Ian.
Some of the other day's business stories now, and the global science and chemicals company Johnson Matthey is selling its advanced glass technologies business to the Italian chemicals firm Fenzi Group for £178 million. Well, JM said the sale of the business, which supplies specialist glass enamels and precious metal pastes to car makers, would make it simpler and more focused. Well, the news came as JM, which stunned the city last week by announcing the sale of its battery technology division, reported underlying pre-tax profit of £264 million for the 6 months to the end of September. That was up from £109 million in the same period last year and largely reflected higher average precious metal prices. The water and sewerage company United Utilities said this morning that water levels in its region had returned to normal despite one of the driest summers on record in the Lake District. It said actions to preserve supplies and heavy rainfall in October had restored the situation. Well, the news came as United Utilities, which supplies more than 3 million homes and businesses in the northwest of England, reported a pre-tax profit of £212.7 million for the 6 months to the end of September. That was up from £201.1 million in the same period last year and reflected higher water consumption from business customers as the economy reopened. And the UK's leading soft drinks maker Britvic said this morning that it had benefited from the reopening of the economy. Britvic, whose brands include Robinsons and Tango, said that sales of J2O and Fruit Shoot had returned to growth as the pub and restaurant trade and schools reopened. And it said that with more people travelling again, sales of smaller packs designed for immediate consumption had also been strong. Well, pre-tax profits for the year to the end of September were £142.9 million. That compared with £111.2 million in the previous 12 months. The shares, I can tell you right now, are currently ahead by just over 2.5%. Now, politicians are all too keen to talk up their efforts to level up the country. But how are businesses getting on with efforts to make their offices truly equal? Well, today, the Social Mobility Foundation has launched its annual Employer Index, a national study looking at how companies are driving social mobility within the workplace, where the likes of Brown Jacobson, KPMG and Severn Trent are rated among the top 5 employers. Well, joining me now, Sarah Atkinson. She's Chief Executive of the Social Mobility Foundation, and Bina Mehta. She's Chair of KPMG UK. Welcome to you both. Sarah, let me start with you. Law and financial services firms leading the way in driving up social mobility in the workplace. Did that surprise you?
No, law, financial services, professional services, the public sector have been strongly represented in the index for some time. That doesn't mean that those firms, those sectors don't have more work to do, but they've been engaged in this journey for a while. This year, we've seen a growth in the number of firms represented in the index and a broadening of the number of sectors, which is good news because social class disadvantage is an issue in every sector. So we want to see employers from every sector engaging in the index and putting their efforts towards social mobility.
So what are the sort of things that these employers are doing to drive up their ratings?
So a critical thing that's common among the top ranked employers is collecting data on socioeconomic background, not just of their hires, but of their workforce. This isn't just an issue about who joins your organisation, who gets in, but about who gets on. I think it's also common among leading firms in the index that the leadership are really engaged in this. Board level visibility on socioeconomic data, board level championing of the issue, and board level setting targets and pushing not just a narrowing focus on this issue, but a broad business focus on the business critical issue of social mobility as it relates to talent.
Now, Bina, you've set a specific target. You're aiming to have a third of partners and senior staff in the business coming from working class backgrounds. How do you assess your progress?
So, as Sarah said, first of all, Sarah, I'd like to say we're delighted and really proud to be in the top 5. And as Sarah said, it's not about just getting into the organisation, it is about how you get on. And so a lot of what we're doing around the targets is actually ensuring that our pipeline is diverse and we're tracking that through. So that is how we can use data to shine a spotlight on where there are challenges in our organisation. And as Sarah highlighted, promotion and progression is one of those big things. And that's where targets really help, because it holds us to account. And it makes sure that we put the structures and processes around our organisation that actually encourage and support that progression all the way through. We know that our more junior colleagues are relatively reflective of society. We know our partners are reflective of society. We know there's something that happens in the middle, and that's why those targets are really, really important for us.
And Bina, how are you defining working class here?
Yeah, so look, we worked with the Bridge Group, who are social mobility experts in this space, and we believe that, and they really worked with us. And the definition they've used is the occupation of your parents when you were 14 years old. And they feel that that's a robust and reliable indicator of social mobility. There are other measures, but that's the one that we are working with. And we've been collating this data for 5 years now. So, it's taken us time to get our colleagues to voluntarily, it's not mandatory, it's voluntary disclosure of your background.
Now, when you announced this initiative, the Times said that this was virtue signalling distraction from a firm that should be concentrating on improving its poor record on auditing. What have you got to say to that?
Look, auditing and audit quality is absolutely a key priority, but to deliver the quality of service and to deliver the business outcomes, we do need to reflect society. We need a diverse and a workforce that reflects the communities we work in. And we know that the diversity of our workforce also delivers better outcomes. Different thinking, different experience, different perspectives actually helps us do our job better.
Now, Sarah, we've talked about some of the good performers here. Which are the sectors that need to be doing more on this front?
So I think we'd particularly like to see more engagement from the technology sector. Fast growing, successful, but has a real social mobility problem, and it's neglected when it comes to technology. I think I'd probably also highlight green jobs. There's a huge agenda around green jobs and green skills. We need to make sure that that's not benefits that are only for people who are already privileged, that's benefits for the whole country and for every community. So technology and green jobs, green skills, I think are the areas we'd like to focus on.
OK, now, Bina, this is very good timing today because it's just been announced overnight that your period as chair of KPMG is being extended. Congratulations on that. Do you feel that you're getting to grips with some of the legacy issues that you've inherited?
So, Ian, thank you very much. I am absolutely delighted that our partners have voted me to continue in my role. And I look forward to continuing the great work that we have been on. And we've been on this journey, as we're talking about social mobility alone, for 10 years. And we have a really important role in our society to train and skill our colleagues who actually, if they don't even stay with us, they're the backbone of some of the financial skills that are in the industry. So that is really, really important. And as a board, absolutely, the board and leadership are absolutely committed to facing into and dealing with these legacy issues that you refer to, Ian, and learning from them and moving forward.
Do you think you are improving audit quality at the firm?
So, as I said, it's absolutely a key priority for us as a firm. I would say as a board, we are very, very focused on it. So, yes, I would say we are very focused on moving forward and improving and continuing to improve and working with our stakeholders on that as well.
All right, Bina, good to see you this morning. Hope to see you again. Sarah, thank you very much to you too. Nice to see you again. Thank you. Well, still to come here on Ian King Live. We'll be having a look at how the markets are doing this Wednesday morning. Don't go away.
We need to remember that the vast majority of professional musicians are not the big stars we see on the screen earning megabucks. They are low-paid freelancers. They earn all their work from live music. They have high investment costs, both in terms of instruments and equipment, and also the time they have to put in to reach high professional standards. And the pandemic was brutal. So because they're freelance, it's not a case of just returning to work. They actually have to rebuild their careers from scratch. So we're finding that at the moment, 9 in 10 are earning less than £1,000 a month from music. That's below the minimum wage, and a third are earning nothing. And what they're finding is a huge number of headwinds that are slowing them down in rebuilding their career. Audience caution in terms of COVID, that affects promoter confidence and people's willingness to put on shows. Venues availability is limited because we've got a backlog of 18 months of shows that haven't yet happened. The Brexit deal has impacted their ability to tour around Europe. If they get ill, they're finding much longer NHS waiting lists, which hamper their return to work. And you can't even get vinyl pressed. So even making sales of 12-inch records is tough. So it's going to be a long time before musicians can get back to normal. The issue is not just financial for them. when you're a musician, it's your identity. So this is having a mental health impact on the musician community. A survey showed that 1 in 8 musicians are facing mental health challenges. We've seen a 60% rise in calls to our mental health helpline. And over 20% of musicians are currently thinking of leaving the profession. There's 2 great things that music lovers can do. And yeah, we're all music lovers, aren't we? Firstly, we can support the musicians we love. So actually, if you can, do go out to gigs. Our friends at the Music Venue Trust have been working really closely with hundreds of grass music venues to make venues safe from a COVID perspective. Do whatever you can, buy merchandise, download anything that the musicians you love put online, encourage them on social media. Let's make social media a pleasant place for musicians to rebuild their careers in.
Well, we led this programme with the oil price, which, as I say, rose yesterday despite the coordinated move by the US, China and others to release crude from their strategic reserves. We'll look at that. While we've been on air, a barrel of Brent crude has slipped into negative territory. Well, it's more or less unchanged, actually. A barrel of Brent crude now currently $82.29 a barrel. Well, on the equity markets, trading in the Asia-Pacific region was jittery overnight following volatility in the oil price. There were very modest gains in Hong Kong and Shanghai, but reverses in Tokyo, Mumbai and in Sydney. But in Europe, markets have rebounded this morning up to a point after 4 days of weakness. Well, they were, look at that, 3 of the main indices in negative territory now, led by the DAX in Germany. The MIB in Milan, no, the only positive gainer among the major indices in Europe. Here, strength among the oil majors has helped the FTSE 100 to its highest level for a week, currently up just under 1/10%, some 6 points to the good. Well, I can tell you more than that has come from BP and Royal Dutch Shell. They've added some 11 points to the index on their own. In percentage terms, the biggest gainer, though, is the testing and quality control group Intertek. The share's currently up by more than 6%. That's on the back of a trading update this morning. Leisure stocks are among the leading fallers in the FTSE today. They include Entain and Flutter Entertainment, the gaming firms, while Whitbread, as you can see, is off by 1.5%. I think it was doing a presentation yesterday at one of the brokerages. Well, outside the FTSE, the chip component supplier IQE, whose customers include Apple, its shares are currently off by some 17%. That's after it warned of weaker demand from the smartphone market, while the animal genetics group Genus, its shares are off 10%. That's after it trimmed its profits guidance for the year, blaming weaker demand out of China, I think is the issue there. Well, on the foreign exchange markets, the pound is currently lower against the US dollar, higher against the euro. A lot of that down to the fact that the dollar is pretty strong across the board right now. Well, joining me is Karen Moore, she's Chief Market Strategist for Europe, Middle East and Africa at JP Morgan Asset Management. Karen, very good morning to you. Obviously, the big story over the last few days has been these lockdowns in Europe. To what extent is that making you rethink about your approach towards European equities?
It's not really, Ian. I mean, we've been through this now over the last 18 months, of course, where successive waves, and we've learned a lot about how consumers behave. And what we've seen is that in those periods of restrictions, they divert some of their spending, they buy more goods because they can't.
Right. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzette. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the
darkness.
The whole of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hello, lovely listeners. Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Starr Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Body, it's your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
All around the world. In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone, broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Hey there, this is Archie, and it is Starr Radio UK. I'm the morning show.
Till it's going down. Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Nissi, Jehovah Tikkenu, the Lord my righteousness. Yes, He is, yes, He is. So lift up your hands and join me in this time of worship. Give Him worship, give Him praise now. Give Him praise now. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. He's worthy of worship, He's worthy of praise now. So lift your heads up high, lift them up reaching to the sky. Give Him worship, give Him praise now. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. He's worthy of worship, He's worthy of praise now. One more time there. Verse 27.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We salute you all and welcome you to the Wednesday edition of the morning show. Today is the 24th day of November, the year 2021. So a month from today will be exactly Christmas Eve, and therefore you know that expenditure is going to go up, you know. But whatever it is, welcome to the program once again. But let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Those of you on other planets as well, we salute you all and we welcome you once again. Special morning to my colleague Mr. Frank Davis, chilling out in Ghana. Frank, how is Ghana? I hope the weather is not too hot for you. Okay, Mr. Olaimi Kweki, yes, Yummy, good morning to you wherever you also are. Okay, massive morning to you, gentlemen. Well, let me say massive good morning to Coach Jody in South London, and then in Aberdeen, where we have Felix as well. Felix, morning to you. So I would love for listeners in US, in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, on the African continent, especially those of you in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Uganda, and all you wonderful people who listen to us daily. We salute you all. Well. It is the Wednesday edition of the morning show, so you know, of course, it's different from all the other days, rockers. Now, what is special about it today? If it's the first time of tuning in to listen to us on Wednesdays, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates. Move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. Exactly at 11 o'clock, I bring you updates from Nigeria. And then at 11:30, we open the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you want to do so, feel free to do so by posting your comments on our Facebook page or texting or WhatsApping it to us. Our number is 07539661744. We move on from there, and exactly at 12 o'clock, we cross over to the House of Parliament for the Prime Minister's question time. So in a gist, that is what is going to be happening today. So once again, welcome to the show. And I am still
This is the morning show with Archie.
But get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate, as I've got myself now. A bit of coffee there for me. Now, what do you want to take? Some hot or cold drink? I bet you, Frank, you have to be taking some very cold drink. But wherever you are, if you are standing, hold on to something. If you are sitting, sit very comfortably. But wherever you are, enjoy the trip. You are assured of safe arrival. So once again, welcome. So the quote for the day says what for today? And I've got a special greetings as well. I'm going to be bringing after this. At the end of every day, pause and take stock. If anger or any other negative emotion is in your heart, let it go, let it go, let it go. So make sure you do so. Leave only the good stuff in there. Anything rubbish, get rid of it. Well, see my scarf, you know that it's a bit chilly. No, the AC is not on in the studio, yet it's chilly here. Okay, no. Alright then, so let's crack on. A special happy birthday to Mr. L. Pong. It is your birthday today, and we ask that may God Almighty bless you indeed and cause all your dreams to come to pass. And a special good morning to Mr. Francis Guy, my able producer in the house. Hope you all doing good. Okay, now let's move on straight to the weather front. And let me tell you what is happening here. As I've told you already, it is nippy. But a bit of details about that. You can tell me about what is happening in your area as well. Tosino, massive good morning to you. Moscow, I know it's chilly there. Okay, today is expected to be dull but settled. There will be overcast skies through the day with very little in the way of any brightness. There's going to be gentle winds, of course. And tonight will start largely cloudy and dry. A few isolated showers are possible in places. However, clear skies will develop as the night progresses. Gentle northerly winds expected as well. And the top temperature is going to be 7 degrees. The lower is going to be 4 degrees. UV level is going to be low. Pollution is going to be low. Sunset 16:01 hours. Sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:33 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. We take a quick break and I'll bring you the travel updates. 10:48 now, and don't you go away.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check it out.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, keep your eyes on the roads. So keeping updated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio UK travel update that comes to you every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:48 from the House of London. How is your travels like this morning? Now, those of you in London on the underground this morning, Northern Line has got minor delays due to an earlier security alert at Collier's Wood. So we can avoid that. Please do your best to avoid that. Now, that aside, all the others have got good service there. London Tramlink, TfL Rail, DLR, good service. But I've got an issue on London Overground. No service between Gospel Oak and Upper Hollowood due to a point failure at Gospel Oak. And severe delays between Upper Holloway and Barking. So check before you leave. If you think that it's going to cause any trouble or anything, please avoid that. But if you are stuck in there, continue to listen to us, because as and when there are any changes, we'll definitely bring it to the fore. But it's all Starr Radio UK, your travel updates. Now moving on to the river bars this morning. On the river bars, apart from the Woolwich Ferry that's got plant closures, all the others have got good service. And then on the National Rail this morning, now Chiltern Railways has got severe delays, Cross Country Special Service and Great Western Railway Special Service there as well. But keep your eyes on the roads, so we'll keep you updated. I promise our bond the Starr Radio travel update comes to every weekday from 10:40. Bring the time now to 10:50 exactly, and the final segment of the travel updates, A4. That's on the major routes in London. A4 has got closures, Central London Red routes closures there as well. The other side, all the others, no exceptional delays. You can zoom through it like no man's business. Okay. So on that note, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
From the rising of the sun till it's going down. All the praise shall be to Jehovah, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord.
Yes, welcome back to the program. It's now 7 minutes to the top of the hour. That is 10:53 from the heart of London. Now, if you're in Nigeria, it is 11:53. Here in London, GMT 10:53. So add or subtract, and it gives you the right time wherever you are. Okay. Let me say a special good morning to Simeon Adebisi. And thank you very much for sharing. If you're listening to us or watching us live, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Okay, it's now time for Global Trotting. So, some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK, starting from home here, of course. PC Andrew Harper's wife, a widow, wins bid to change law. Ministers back Lizzie Harper's campaign to jail those who kill on duty police and 999 workers for life. Not only those who kill them, but I think that people who, you have the frontline staff, okay? You go to the NHS, you go to the social services, and these people face a barrage of abuse. Well, I think we have to hold those who do that culpable for whatever they do. But we'll come to that in a moment. Now, Boris Johnson is on great form, says Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab defends the Prime Minister as Tigrish character after criticism of a speech he gave to business leaders. You remember that one? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry for that. And then Peppa Pig. Aha, that's the one. Well, the Prime Minister is okay. He messed up his script that he was supposed to have presented. So maybe that's what causes that. And at times we all come on there. At times even delivering a speech somewhere, and then you find out that that day you fall short of your normal performance. What about that? Okay, so it's one of those days for him. But maybe not. Alright, we'll be looking into that. That the Home Office should not run Windrush scheme, says MP. Now, most of those who applied for compensation have yet to receive a penny, a report by MPs has found. And 2 men have been held over the murder of an 18-year-old. The body is found by police searching for a Plymouth teenager who went missing last Saturday. Very sad one. But it's all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 4 minutes past to the top of the hour. And it is the Wednesday edition of the morning show, Global Trotting. the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. And let me take this opportunity to also say good morning to Empress Regina Anima, back to base. Hope you are doing very well as well. So moving on to other parts of the world, Europe to reach 2.2 million COVID deaths by March. WHO says another 700,000 deaths from COVID are projected in the region in 2022 by the World Health Organization. Should we take it with a pinch of salt or wholeheartedly on board and then see to address it? We'll be looking into those stories. How plausible would that be? Now, child is 6th fatality in U.S. parade car ramming. An 8-year-old boy is the latest person to die after a car plowed into a crowd in Wisconsin. Well, in the scientific or astronomical world, the mission is to punch an asteroid. Mission to punch an asteroid has been launched. The spacecraft has started its journey as it aims to deliberately nudge an asteroid, of course. Well, is it facing or is it coming towards Earth? Okay, in Ethiopia, Olympics heroes are ready to join war. Haile Gebrselassie and Fayisa Lilisa backed the Prime Minister's call to go to the front line of the Tigray war. Now, can't peace prevail? The way that the government has handled the whole situation, is it fair? And the way that the Tigrayans have also behaved, is it fair? Can't we have a middle ground and say that talk rather than just bombing ourselves and killing ourselves, destroying lives? Well, we hope to see what happens on that front. It is All Star Radio UK coming your way this Wednesday morning. A U.S. jury has awarded $25 million in damages over far-right rally. A woman died after an avowed neo-Nazi drove a car into counter-protesters in Charlottesville, Virginia. This All Star Radio UK coming your way with all the news that is making the rounds across the globe. Now, Apple sues Israeli spyware firm NSO Group. Apple is the latest in a string of firms and government to go after their hacking tool firm. A hacking tool firm. How much money have they made on that? Well, are they able to cough up? Well, interestingly, in Mexico, a Nazareth lottery win has turned into a nightmare. Now, parents who won almost $1 million are being threatened by a gang demanding they use that money to buy guns. Wow! What is global threatening? If it's making the headlines from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, I promise you, we'll touch on it. Now, French footballer Benzema guilty in sex tape trial. The Real Madrid striker is convicted of conspiring to blackmail fellow footballer Matthew Valbuena. Some stories making the rounds in Europe today. And Sweden has voted in Andersson as first female prime minister. Before MPs backed Magdalena Andersson, Sweden was the only Nordic state never to have a woman as a prime minister. It's all coming your way. And New Zealand is also to reopen to vaccinated visitors. The first eligible to return will be New Zealand citizens and residents who are currently in Australia. And it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, stop malicious hyping of Peng Shui's case. That's what China is saying. As questions remain over the tennis star well-being, China insists it is not a diplomatic matter. This is our own bedroom affairs, and therefore we want to talk about it. Not you. That seems to be what the Chinese is saying. Or Chinese are saying. Okay then. Now moving on straight to the African continent before we take a break and then bring you some updates from Nigeria. Well, Malawi has picked Mike Tyson for cannabis champion role. The agriculture minister asks the former world heavyweight boxer to help market the crop. Whoa, I bet he's going to get some commission in there then. Well, it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Well, Gambians, more James expose journalist Panderi Mbai, who was a thorn in the flesh of Jammeh regime, has died. May he so rest in perfect peace. And a tribute is also being paid to a Nigerian comedian, Babasuwe. Fellow comedian Mr. Macaroni says Babasuwe, who has died aged 63, was a legend. And I say, may his soul rest in perfect peace. But when it comes to Nigeria, but police rescue 24 kidnapped victims in Zamfara. And then, well, the CSOs divided over federal government dismissal of report as fake news. That's the HENSAS. I'm going to bring you more on that front. And Sunday, Igboho drags Attorney General Department of State Services Central Bank to court over refusal to pay 20.5 billion judgment costs. You remember that judgment? I said it. I said, well, the court might have ruled, but would these people adhere to it? Now, Boko Haram is forcing parents to withdraw children from schools. Niger raises alarm. This and a lot more coming your way. Laya Mohammed's attempt to rubbish report while Buhari awaits white paper shows federal government not coordinated. Huriwa is saying. So this and a lot more coming your way. Now finally, before we take a break, in Ghana, E-Levy is a monster, Adongo says. And some others saying E-Levy is alien to Africa's sub-regional tax practices, economist tells government. But the question is, if that will let people pay their due, then someone will say, well, it's something that we have to do. But it is something that is targeted towards the poor in our communities, then we have a massive problem on our hands. But the question that I asked yesterday, once again I'm asking today, if you go to the tap, I mean back in Africa, we go to the taps, we have communities where they have the taps, and you go there, you have your bucket, and then you go fetch water. But if you happen that you go to the taps and you go this around with a basket, a very massive basket, and it doesn't matter how fast the tap is flowing into the basket and filling the basket, by the time you take it and walk towards your destination, I bet you, even if you have a cup of water left in that basket, you would have lost what? Huge sums. And that seems to be what the trend has been in Ghana and Africa as a whole. Well, somebody who says that he's an expert or something of the sort, Brian Achampon, is saying that Akufo-Addo strip must be classified top secret. Now, when has the Prime Minister here traveled and we say it's top secret, we don't need to know where he's going to? The only time that we hear something, I mean, that even you say that maybe the Prime Minister is taking a trip, and that was when we had the Afghanistan and the Iraqi war going on, and we have Prime Ministers or President of the United States visiting those areas, and they don't say it. So once they get on the ground, before we have pictures that, oh, they are on the ground, because we don't want them to be targeted. Are we saying that somebody's going to be targeting our the Ghanaian president? Well, is it because of the 16,000 per hour flight jet? That's why you say it should be classified? Interesting. So this is a lot more going to be coming your way. Stay tuned, don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK. Enjoy the rest of the song, and once we come back, I'll bring you updates from Nigeria. I am Archie.
On your smartphone, broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Starr Radio. Starr Radio. For the people. Radio for the people. By the people.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes.
How do you get the energy to do
I've
that?
been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The whole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'll bring you the time now to exactly 12 minutes past the top of the hour. Yes, it is the Wednesday edition of the morning show. I hope so far, so good, you are enjoying yourself or enjoying the show. So wherever you are, just stay with me and don't you go away, but share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. Yes, my cameraman is trying to adjust my camera, so just bear with him, yeah? Trying to make sure things are taken out along nicely and you're enjoying everything that we're doing. Okay, so it's now time for us to look at some of the story that's made the rounds from Nigeria. But share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. Okay. Now, your state speaker, Debo Gondin, releases pre-wedding photos. Interesting things there. And then National Congress slams ITO over Nembi leak. I will try my best to see whether we can bring you more on that. And then Nigeria must seek diversified solution to security challenges, Lawan is saying. So let me pick that one first, and then we'll look at some of the other stories that I've touched on. The president of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, has said for Nigeria to overcome its security challenges, efforts must be made to seek diversified solutions besides the military options to the problem of banditry, militancy, and insurgency. Now, Lawan made this known in his remarks after a point of order raised by Senator Roger Okorocha to draw the attention of the Senate to the heightening spate of insecurity in Imo State. According to the Senate President, the National Assembly has equally been consistent with the approach in coming up with legislative interventions needed to address the security challenges of the country. He explained that such interventions include job creation and the introduction of required legislation to promote economic development from local and foreign investment. Now, this Senate and indeed the entire National Assembly has been very consistent in trying to find some kind of solution, a more permanent solution to ending the security situation in the country, and of course, we will continue to do so. He goes on to say, and I agree that we need to diversify our means of getting the solution to the numerous myriads of security challenges across the country, Lawan said. Senator Okorocha, while coming under Order 43 personal explanation of the Senate rules, lamented what he described as the escalating state of insecurity in Imo State. He therefore sought the intervention of the upper chamber in finding a solution to the problem. Okorocha said, where I present, Mr. President, there is no day that passes in the state without one ugly story of kidnapping, killing, maiming, burning of innocent people's homes, shops on daily basis. Mr. Senate President, 2 weeks ago, it was killing of traditional rulers. The other day, a policeman was killed, and a few days ago, it was a killing of an army man. Again, the killing of innocent souls and burning of people's houses and homes. Mr. Senate President has called for serious concerns. So you ask yourself the question, so what is the government security details doing about that? The security caucus, the top de la creme, the creme de la creme. How are they putting their heads together? He's thinking that the Senate President is of the view that, it takes about time that we'll look at plan B, not only bombing our way through the situation, because that seemed not to be solving the issue. Well, so insecurity. Let's go on before we come to the NSAS issue that's gone on. Well, Boko Haram is forcing parents to withdraw children from schools in Niger State. The insurgents in Shiroro local government area of Niger State have been forcing parents to withdraw their children from schools and flouting government orders. The story says insurgents in Shiroro on the area of Niger State have been forcing parents to withdraw their children from schools and flouting government orders. On the other hand, bandits have resorted to burning of farm produce in the communities because farmers reportedly refuse to pay the tax imposed on them. The secretary to the state government, Ahmed Ibrahim Matani, disclosed this on Tuesday while giving a security update in Mina, the state capital. He said, these things were happening in Kwaki, Kusasu, Kawore, Chikuba, Kurebe, Madaka, Farindote, Falali, and Ibru communities. Now, Matani said they are the areas we believe the oppression seem to resemble those of Boko Haram and ISWAP because these people came and tried to align with communities, telling them that they need to cooperate with them, so they will be free. They will not touch them. But this is the case where every Friday prayers, they come and preach to the communities not to send their children to school. And they say, we have also seen recently where the bandits in some locations were taxing communities to pay to access their farms. Interesting. They are deliberate because they know that this is the harvest season, so farmers will be anxious to harvest their farm produce. Now, we have also seen cases where when communities refuse to pay the tax, bandits go and set farms on fire, the SSG has said. But we have the federal government sitting aloof and thinking that everything is working perfectly the way they want it. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So let's move on to some other stories as well from Nigeria. Well, Sunday Igboho has dragged the Attorney General's Department of State Services and Central Bank to court over refusal to pay 20.5 billion naira judgment cost. This was a ruling that came a couple of months ago. The Yoruba Nation agitator and activist Sunday Igboho has filed a lawsuit against the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and the Department of State Services over their failure to pay him 20.5 billion awarded him as costs in the suit against his house invasion. The court has approved and granted the garnishee order against the Nigerian government. The two applications were filed by his lead counsel, Chief Yomi Aliyu, at an Oyo State High Court, which ordered the DSS to pay him 20 billion in aggravated damages and another 500 million naira in costs for invading his Soka Ibadan house on July 1, 2021. Now, Sahara reporters had reported that 2 persons were killed during the invasion, his properties destroyed, while other valuable belongings were taken away. Now, Justice Ladiran Kintola on September the 17th, 2021 had ruled that the invasion was illegal, that Igboho did not breach the constitution by campaigning for Yoruba nation, but was being hounded by for his agitation. The judge awarded him 20.5 billion naira but instead of paying the said cost, the DSS filed an application for stay of execution and an appeal against the judgment. While filing an objection to the stay of execution, Aliyu filed a second application for garnishee Nizi against the CBN to pay 20 billion to the applicant over out of federal government pairs with the regulatory bank. Aliyu argued that neither the appeal nor stay of execution application affects an application for garnishee. At a sitting on Monday, the court agreed and granted garnishee order. The matter was, however, adjourned for CBN to come on January 12, 2022 to show why the court should not make the garnishee order absolute. In the DSS motion to stay the execution of the 20 billion damages awarded Igboho, it urged in its affidavit that paying the huge sums will plunge Nigeria into further economic woes. But when they were going to invade his property, did they think about that before doing so? If it was legal or not? Because the person had not taken arms, or that he was saying that, well, the way our people are being treated wasn't fair. So what was wrong with that? Don't you think that was breaking Nigeria? Why didn't they seek to address the issue that he was raising? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's come to some of the stories that or reactions and actions that have come out from the poo-pooing of the report that came out of the committee that was set up to investigate the NSAS demonstration and the Lekki Tollgate massacre. Now, Lai Mohammed attempts to rubbish report while Buhari awaits white paper shows federal government not coordinated. That is sorry, that is coming. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Horiwa, on Tuesday said their statement by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, rubbishing the report of the Lagos panel on the Lekki shootings when President Muhammad Buhari is awaiting the white paper to be released by the Lagos state government, shows that there is no cohesion between the federal government and the sub-nationals. The national coordinator of the group, Emmanuel Nwobiko, stated this while reacting to Lai Mohammed's comment that the judicial panel report is fake, until by the moonlight after 1 week the report had been released. Now Nwobiko said the minister disrespected Sanwo-Olu by rubbishing the panel's report before the release of the white paper by the state government, adding that Mohammed has no business being in government any longer. Well, will the government adhere to that? Well, he is doing the government's dirty work, so why not? Okay. In another reaction to that, early this morning at dawn, I read another story. But this person is known as lawyer something. I've forgotten that I was trying to look for the story, but I seem to be like the Prime Minister of the UK who can't find that story. And I don't want to say excuse me, or I apologize for that. Okay, but civil society organizations have expressed divergent views about the federal government's rejection of the NSAS report by a panel set by Lagos state government, with some supporting the government and other opposing it. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, had yesterday described the report of the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry and Restitution to investigate cases of police brutality and the incident at the Lekki toll gate as a rehash of the unverified fake news that have been playing on social media since the incident of October 2020. But while some CSOs and senior advocates backed the minister, others saw his comment as part of the government tactics to sweep the matter arising from the report under the carpet. Lai Mohammed, who disclosed federal government rejection of the report during a press conference in Abuja yesterday, said it is incredible that a judicial panel set up to investigate an incident had submitted a report laden with allegations, the same allegation it was set up to investigate in the first instance. Now Mohammed said instead of sitting for all of 1 year, the panel could have just compiled social media tales by the moonlight on the incident and submitted, saving taxpayers' funds and everyone's time. He said the report is nothing but a triumph of fake news and the intimidation of a silent majority by a vociferous lynch mob. So even the way he describes these people makes you see the stance of government when it comes to this. So first of all, they should have waited for the white paper to be released by the Lagos state governor. And once that is done, or Lagos state government, once that is done, then the federal court can take it and then say, okay, blah, 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 react to it. But there seems not to be that coordination, that who has to do what first on. So he jumping the gun or putting the cart before the horse has made things worse off. So assuming the Lagos state governor decides that, well, looking into it and with my expertise and my advisors around it, we think that maybe we were at fault, or the indictment of security agencies and blah 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 were all something to do with it. Now the story that I read early this morning talked about the fact that, well, the chain of command when it came to the Lekki toll gate shootings was that the head of army, okay, got instruction from the presidency, or from the president, to command the military to come over there to come and quell whatever that was going on. Meanwhile, these were demonstrators who were sitting down, holding flags of the country, Nigeria, and singing the national anthem. But because the president was of the view that that demonstration that was going on was all a plan or a plot to overthrow his government, that's why he sent the military in. Well, what do you think about all that? It is Starr Radio UK, 11:27 the time, the morning show, the program. We're going to take a break, and once we come back, we'll look at some other stories making the rounds. But these are the stories, or this is the updates from Nigeria. And remember, at 12 o'clock, I'll be taking you to the House of Parliament for the Prime Minister's question time. So let me announce the lines open before we take the break. If you want to join in the conversation, feel free to call me on 0208 133 2257 or 58. 0208 133 2257 or 58. US or Canada, 001 718 303 2737. 0017183032737. You can also text or WhatsApp as 0753966174. 0753966174. You can also tweet at us. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Welcome to the program once again. Don't go away. We'll take a quick break, commercial break, and then we'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, bringing the time exactly 11:30, and it is the Wednesday edition of the morning show. So we're going to have another 30 minutes to go round the globe to bring you the details of all the other stories making the rounds. But hey, you can feel free to call in and make your voice heard pertaining to any of the issues that I've discussed. And if there are issues that you think I didn't touch on, but hey, it's brewing, and you want to share with us, feel free to do so. It is Starr Radio UK, and it's the people's radio for the people, by the people. Starr Radio UK. Okay. All right then. So now let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds here in the UK. Bring you some of the details of that. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages, as I've said. All right then. So now, PC Harper's widow has won a bid to change the law. The campaign by PC Andrew Harper's widow to give mandatory life sentence to the killers of emergency services workers have been backed by the government. Newly married PC Harper was 28 when he was dragged to his death by getaway car in August 2019. 3 teenagers were jailed for manslaughter. The Minister of Justice said it will aim to pass Harper's Law in England and Wales as soon as possible. Now, Lizzie Harper said she was delighted and a late husband will be proud. Of course. But I don't get it. When people like emergency, workers, okay, emergency services workers have come to your premise to come and help you. Somebody is ill and you have them coming in to come and help you, and then you abuse them. Well, sometimes I know those who are drunk behave or are high on drugs at times because they are not thinking things through, might decide to do something of the sort. Okay, but those who maybe because of racial behavior or behave that way towards such people, and even if you are drunk, nobody told you to get yourself drunk. And if you are high on drugs, nobody told you to get yourself high on drugs. Unless, of course, people who have got mental ailment, okay? And therefore, they cannot siphon between what is right and what is wrong. Even that. So when I see people who are rendering service to people and they face things like that, I was talking to, I was watching one of the programs, one documentary, and there was a story where some ambulance workers, and they were saying that people spat at them, some people slap them. And I was saying that, look, that's why I cannot do that job, because you do that at me, I'm going to leave you there. What is going on in your head? I'm here to come and help you. Well, so to all our frontline workers, you talk about the social workers, you talk about the nurses, you talk about the police, you talk about all those people. I think some laws have to be put in place so that when people are rendering those jobs, you don't just go down. When they make a mistake there by not adhering, not doing the right thing. You know the barrage of this abuse and things that comes upon them, or disciplinary action that comes upon them. Why can't we just give them the free hand to just do their work? All right then. Kudos to her, Lizzie Harper, for a good work done there. And to all our frontline staff, we say, well done and God bless you. Okay, now one final story from the UK front before we go to other places. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm going to bring you a couple more because I have some revelation of. Now, Boris Johnson is on great form. The Deputy Prime Minister says, despite criticism over a speech to business leaders on Monday, the Prime Minister was branded shambolic after his appearance at the CBI, where he referenced Peppa Pig, quoted Lenin, and lost his place. But Dominic Raab praised the Prime Minister, a buoyant, bouncy, optimistic, tigrish character, saying it livens up his speeches. It was interesting. I was watching that because it was the beginning of our broadcast on last Monday, and I was like, what is he talking about? Big for what? Talk to business people. Talk to them. Tell them what you are putting in place. Maybe some taxes that they can. Some things that you are putting in place for their businesses to go out to be able to spread and then help citizens. And they come to talk about Peppa. Also, what Peppa Pig is something that it was innovated here in the UK. So you have maybe Peppa Pig World or something like this. That would be nice. Well, I bet the children are clamoring for it. The remarks come ahead of Prime Minister's question time at 12 o'clock today, where Mr. Johnson will face questions from Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer and other MPs. Now, Mr. Johnson appeared before the CBI conference earlier this week to make his speech for a green industrial revolution to business. Now, the speech included a recap of the Prime Minister's policies, including support for electric cars, investing in wind power, and the government integrated rail plan. But it drew more negative attention after his impression of a car, comparing himself to Moses and his personal anecdote from a trip to Peppa Pig World. And in a quote he said, I was a bit hazy about what I would find at Peppa Pig World, but I loved it. He told the conference, Peppa Pig World is very much my kind of place. Now when I was listening to that, I was like, my goodness, Prime Minister, hello, are you sleeping or are you awake? But well, it was a bit hazy about what I would have found at Peppa Pig's World. That's what he said. After the speech, is everything okay? Mr. Johnson said he thought people had got the vast majority of the points he wanted to make, and that the speech went over well. Well, that's what he's saying. But some people are calling that, well, I think the Prime Minister is maybe overwhelmed, maybe it's not well, and maybe it's time for him to stand aside for someone else who is more capable what? I want to get some adjectives to qualify this, but well, let me leave it with you. As the Prime Minister did say, I'm sorry. Okay, it is already okay. 11:37 the time, the morning show, the program. In the next 23 minutes, I'll be taking you to the House of Parliament. We'll be following what is going to happen there. Are they going to bash the Prime Minister left, right, center, or middle? We'll see what happens on that front. Well, when it came to Bieber Henry and Nicole Smallman, Met pieces called murdered sisters dead birds. Wow. Now, two Met officers who took photos of two murdered sisters and described them as dead birds in WhatsApp messages to the public, a misconduct panel head. Now, PC Denise Jeffer and PC Jamie Lewis were sent to Friend Country Park in Wembley last June after the bodies of Nicole Smallman and Bieber Henry were found. The pair previously admitted taking and sharing photographs of the women. They are due to be sentenced on December 6th. Now, Danielle Hussein was found guilty of the murders. Miss Henry, 46, and Miss Smallman, 27, had been celebrating Miss Henry's birthday when they were attacked and repeatedly stabbed by Hussein. Okay, so well, that's what he called them, dead birds. Okay, somebody say that is beneath the belt. And some sad story as well. I did talk about the fact that a lady who was missing, is that a teenage girl? Yeah, who was missing last Saturday has been found dead in Plymouth. Okay, Devon and Commonwealth police said the suspects, age 24 and 26, and both from the city, were still in custody. The police are searching for Bobby Ann McLeod, found a woman's body at Bobby's End, south of Plymouth City Centre on Tuesday. May her soul rest in perfect peace, because we live in a world where you ask yourself some actions that some people take, whether they are actually okay or not. Well, Poland's reports jump in cases amid Europe warnings. Now, cases are putting a strain on hospitals, with daily new infections exceeding 25,000 for the first time since April in Poland. Whoops. Well, so I was asking the question the other day, that with what is happening in Europe, is there a tendency that we're going to be seeing it maybe not get into another lockdown? But the government has come to advise that, well, wherever we go, if you're going to a community, a gathering, let's say you're going into a church, you're going into some big gathering, we all have to do lateral tests before you go there. I think that is on point. It's something that we all have to adhere to, because that at least will quell the rise of the infection. What do you think about that? Well, there are other areas that have been locked down. We have Austria that is locked down. We have Germany that they held many sites, saying that, well, it's just a matter of time that we might have to either all get vaccinated, or get killed, or all die. But we don't want all to die. It is already okay. Well, you remember what happened during Trump's time? Okay. But a U.S. jury has awarded $25 million in damages against the organizers of a deadly far-right rally in August 2017. The defendants were found liable in 4 out of 6 counts over the bloodshed at the Unite the rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. The civil lawsuit was filed by 9 people who suffered physical or emotional injuries in the rally. A woman was killed and dozens were hurt after a vowed neo-Nazi drove a car into counter-protesters. In court, the jury awarded $500,000 in punitive damages against 12 defendants and $1 million against 5 white supremacist organizations. Punitive damages are awarded at the court's discretion to punish a defendant for conduct judged to be especially harmful. A total of $12 million in punitive damages was also imposed against the driver of the car in the fatal incident. The jury of 11 deliberated over 3 days following nearly a month of testimony at the trial in Charlottesville. The two federal conspiracy charges that jurors could not agree on alleged that the defendants had plotted to commit racially motivated violence. Roberta Kaplan, an attorney for the plaintiffs, said they plan to refile the lawsuit so a new jury can decide on those two charges. The legal action alleged that the defendants brought with them to Charlottesville the imagery of the Holocaust, of slavery, of Jim Crow, and of fascism. They also brought, they also brought with them semi-automatic weapons, pistols, mace, rods, armors, shields, and torches, the lawsuit said. Well, so I hope that they embark on it and make sure that these people face the full rigors of the law. It is Starr Radio UK, 17 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's quickly go on to other parts of the world and have a look at some of the stories making the rounds there. Don't you worry, and make sure you don't miss a thing there. All right, when it comes to the Prime Minister's question time, Amen. Well, Apple is suing Israel's spyware firm NSO Group and its parent company for allegedly targeting iPhone users with a hacking tool. The NSO's Pegasus software can infect both iPhones and Android devices, allowing operators to extract messages, photos, and emails, record calls, and secretly activate microphones and cameras. NSO's group said its tools were made to target terrorists and criminals, but it has allegedly also been used on activists, politicians, and journalists. The NSO's group says it only supplies Pegasus to military, law enforcement, and intelligence agencies from countries with good human rights records. However, earlier this month, U.S. officials placed the company on a trade blacklist, saying the software had enabled foreign government to conduct transnational repression, which is the practice of authoritarian government targeting dissidents, journalists, and activists. This action from Apple follows criticism from other tech firms, including Microsoft, Meta Platforms, formerly Facebook, and then Google owner Alphabet and Cisco Systems. Well, so now Apple is suing them for that. It is All Starr Radio, okay? Your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's hop on straight onto the African continent. Now, interestingly, in Malawi, the Malawian Agriculture Prime Minister, my apologies, Agriculture Minister, is saying that, well, we are going to hire the expertise of the former world heavyweight champion Mike Tyson for cannabis champion role. The Agriculture Minister asked the former world heavyweight boxer to help market the crop. So, you know, he is in that business, where they are marketing cannabis for medicinal purposes. So, what connection is it going to give them? There. Can't for sure Malawi will have their own embassies in various parts of the world where that is needed. Well, some would say that there is a need to, get somebody who knows his way around the show, and therefore that's why they might have to get Mike Tyson to do so. But well, interesting there. All right, then let's move on to some other stories. Ethiopia's Olympic heroes ready to join war, and that is one of the stories happening in Ethiopia. Ethiopian Olympic heroes Haile Gebrselassie and Fayesa Lileza say they are ready to go to the front line in the war against rebel forces. The announcement comes after Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said he will go to the front to lead the war. Now, Tigrayan rebels say they are advancing towards the capital Addis Ababa. Germany and France have become the latest countries to advise their citizens to leave Ethiopia amid an escalation in the civil war. On Tuesday, U.S. envoy to the region, Jeffrey Feltman, warned that tentative diplomatic progress towards ending the conflict was being jeopardized by alarming developments on the ground. The Gabriel Selassie, 48, was quoted by state television as saying that Mr. Abiy's decision to go to battle war expected from a leader who loves his country, and he also in return says, I am ready to do whatever it required of me, including going to the front line, he said. Now, Gabriel Selassie is regarded as a legend in Ethiopia, and his comments were seen as an attempt to rally public support behind the war efforts. But my question is, can't we talk? Can't we talk? Have we got that in there? Can't we come to a common ground and say, okay, because of this, because our people are going to be destroyed, are going to be killed, our properties are going to be destroyed, the well-being of people is going to be affected, and therefore, let's see some peace, some truce. What goes on in our heads? Well, Starr Radio UK, the animal kingdom. All right then. Well, 12 minutes to the top of the hour, the time, the morning show, the program, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We'll be taking you to the House of Parliament for the Prime Minister's question time, so don't you go away. Well, Kenyan and South African president have called for peace in Africa. Now, Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta and South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa have called for increased cooperation to bring peace to conflict-ridden regions. This war at the start of a Kenyatta's two-day state visit to South Africa. In a meeting in Pretoria on Tuesday, November 23, the two leaders discussed the grave situation in Ethiopia and agreed that there is an urgent need for all parties to commit to an immediate, indefinite, and negotiated ceasefire, Ramaphosa said. They also condemned recent bomb attacks in Uganda's capital of Kampala, which claimed the lives of at least 3 civilians in what police described as a coordinated attack by extremists opposed to the government. The two leaders discussed the problem of Islamic extremist violence in South Africa's neighbor Mozambique and in other countries across Africa. Terrorism is not a fight that can be fought by any one country, said Kenyatta, referring to Al-Shabaab in Somalia, Boko Haram in Nigeria, and several Islamic State groups operating in Africa. So, what is the AU doing? Is there going to be a coordinated effort by the states and their leaders in combating these ills that is going on? Or everybody think that, well, we are lords to our own selves and we can do it by ourselves, and if I'm killing people, let me just go there, pursue them, and just destroy them. But what do you think you can give that could make these people cease their actions? It is Starr Radio UK. 10 minutes to the top of the hour at a time. Okay. Let's move on now to other African countries. We'll be looking at Ghana as well. Now, 36 out of the 53 gendarmes killed in Inata in the Soum province in Burkina Faso on November 14 were buried yesterday, the 23rd. So there was chaos hit burial ceremony for 36 gendarmes killed in Inata, because there were lots of people who came in to pay their respects. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, 2020 budget, the e-levy is a monster. But he's saying that, well, I don't see that as a monster. You want the country fixed. I'm going to take money from you to fix the country. But, well, I don't go is calling it a monster. Why? Let me tell you more about that. The Member of Parliament for Bogatanga Central, Isaac Adongo, has described the electronic transaction levy, the e-levy, announced in 2022 budget as a monster. According to him, the 1.75% e-levy, if allowed to stand, will compound the hardship in the country. Speaking during the debate of the 2022 budget statement and economic policy on the floor of Parliament, the deputy ranking member for the Finance Committee rallied his colleagues to reject the levy, given the negative impact it will have on individuals, families, and businesses. A levy, Mr. Speaker, no matter how you call that thing, is a monster. It doesn't matter the language that you use. It is a killer. Mr. Speaker, that will change the face of our families and our children and the entire business community if we allow this to pass. This is anti-poor and this is anti-business. It is the most regressive. Mr. Speaker, our role here is not to kill the hen that lays the golden egg, and that hen is the businessman we are taxing to death. Now, Mr. Adongo, however, declared the minority MPs are nationalistic enough to support government in raising revenue for development. He, however, insisted the revenue mobilization measures announced in the budget are not in tune with the current prevailing economic situation in the country. So, as I asked the question a couple of days ago, and now I'm still asking that question, do you think that going to the tap or a well with a massive basket and looking at maybe the amount of water you can scoop or fetch at the moment, but with a basket, by the time you get to your destination, let's say even if it's close, maybe you end up having maybe a cup of water to drink from that. Now, what do you think? Do you think it's a good? Somebody will think, well, we need to tax people. You say you want the road fixed, you want that. So the best way or the only way is by taxing, because that's how government raise revenue. And so, what do you think? Okay, now a couple of stories, and then we bring the program, the first part of the program, to a close. Now, when the Prime Minister of the UK travels abroad, we know it. He's on tour. We know it because the Air Force will take him, and we know. It's of late. Earlier on, they were flying on commercial flights, but now I know they have a special flight that they use as well. But okay, and again, when it comes to the US, we have the president flying on Air Force One. We have Russia president flying on his. So they've got their own national flight or presidential flight that they use. Now they can afford, because their economy is better. They have lots of money in their country. Okay, they are able to raise monies, and people can even afford to buy that, and people will not wink at it because they see government being held accountable and government seeing to deliver on their promise. However, when it comes to a country where now we are going to be taxing people when they do mobile transaction, okay, which they termed it e-levy, and we have the president flying on a hired jet that is costing the taxpayer $16,000 per hour. Is it dollars? Is it pounds? So they call it dollars. And some MPs saying that look, that should be classified. You don't need to let the people know exactly how much it's costing and whether he traveled on a private jet or not. You shouldn't say that. Well, the Member of Parliament for Abetifi, Brian Acheampong, has called on the National Security Minister to classify President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's foreign travels as highly confidential. Mr. Acheampong, who was also a former Minister of State at the Ministry of Interior, explained that keeping the president's trips as top secret will prevent him from being easily tracked. Now, President Akufo-Addo's recent trip have been topical after it was revealed that he was using a $14,000 an hour private jet instead of the state-owned presidential jet. So now you see where it's coming from. So if he uses the presidential jet, they will know that that's the president going. So if he uses a private jet, you're not sure is it the president or is it not the president or whatever. So that's what they're trying to come out with, the explanation for paying $14,000 an hour. Now, Member of Parliament for Nortongo, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has filed two other urgent questions demanding the full cost of President Akufo-Addo's recent foreign trips. But speaking in Parliament during the 2022 budget debate, Mr. Champon described Mr. Ablakwa's demand as needless, adding that the focus should rather be on the president's safety and not the cost of his foreign travels. We are not living in a society or a community where we've got so much fun that we can live lavishly. You want to tax people when they send money, they move money to somebody, they transact, what, send money. I mean, so I said no, when we remit money from here to them, we pay here, okay? But when the money gets there, so let's say I send my old man some money, and inside, okay, let me give some money to your sister. When he remits that money, he has to pay tax on it. So what's the point? When you have the whole president flying, and the excuse that some people have given is that, oh, because the president want to have shower in the skies. Now, don't you travel, those of us who have traveled, who are here, or those, when you travel, when you're having a conference or something, and you're traveling from here to one place, you fly, let's say 6 hours, okay? Because you do a stopover if you have to go to the US or something, okay? So let's say straight flight, 6 hours or 8 hours. So you fly straight there. Do you need to now go have a shower? Why? Whilst you're in the plane, are you sweating? Are you exercising? What have you been doing? What will you be doing? Well, unless there is something else that they seem not to be telling us. But if you live in a place where you don't have abundance, you don't expect to live that way. Especially when you are actually pulling the hair from people's noses. Well, so this one I'm going to end the program, but it's all Starr Radio UK. Remember, tomorrow I think I'm going to have enough time for us to digress some more of some of the stories that is making the rounds today and tomorrow, and you'll be able to share with us. But at the moment, we take a quick break, and by the time we come back, I'll be taking you to the House of Parliament for the Prime Minister's question time. So after that, if you don't hear from me, it's been me, Archie, saying have a top of the day. Bye-bye for now.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Questions, I would like to point out that the British Sign Language interpretation proceedings is available to watch on Parliament Live TV. I don't think we need any more. If you listen to this next bit, might help. Before we I wish to make one further point. There are many reflections on Sir David Amos's decency and kindness at a very moving Requiem Mass held yesterday. I sincerely hope that those qualities of kindness, decency, are reflected in our proceedings today and in the future. I now call the Prime Minister. Chris Bryant, number one.
Number one, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with... Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. Thank you. Thank you very much. Immediately following PMQs, I will attend the Welcome Home march-in to thank all those involved in pitting our evacuation from Kabul. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Chris Bryant.
I too will be attending I too will be attending in a few minutes. Nicky's 7-year-old son had 37 seizures a day because of a brain disease he suffered from. He's had surgery now, but it's a struggle every day to get him to stay in school. Nicky, is supporting the acquired brain injury bill because she believes that the government needs to have a cross-departmental strategy for supporting those who've had an acquired brain injury, whether that's rugby players with concussion and dementia, it's women who've been beaten in the head by their partners, it's people who've had brain injuries due to children who've had suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning, soldiers who've been in explosions. I really hope that the government is going to back the acquired brain injury bill. But above all, we need a strategy to help the 1.4 million people in this country. Will he give us that?
Prime Minister.
I want to thank the Right Honourable Member for raising this vital issue and for his commitment to this cause, his personal commitment. And I can assure him that we are studying his proposed bill and working to ensure that people do get the support for the acquired brain injuries that they have received. And what we can certainly pledge at this stage to do, and I hope this will be of some use to him and the many who care about this issue in the way that he does, and as I'm sure members do across the House, the Department of Health and Social Care will lead on the development of a cross-departmental government strategy on acquired brain injury and other neurological conditions. I'll be very happy to share details with him shortly.
Felicity Buchan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In July of this year, my constituency, Kensington, suffered devastating flooding, with more than 2,000 homes flooded, a river running down Portobello Road, and a lot of residents having to move into temporary accommodation. Does my right honourable friend agree with me that Thames Water needs to come up with short and long-term solutions, and they need to make sufficient investment in infrastructure to prevent events like this happening again?
Yes.
Prime Minister.
My honourable friend is absolutely right to raise flooding, Mr. Speaker, and she's right about short and long-term solutions, and that's why I'm proud, amongst other things, to have helped instigate the Thames Tideway Tunnel, with the biggest super sewer in the history of this country, which will help to deal with what happens in London when the Basingstoke interceptors overflow, and to deal with flooding throughout the city.
Leader of the Opposition, Keir Starmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At the last election, the Prime Minister promised that nobody would have to sell their home to pay for care. That's another broken promise, isn't it?
Prime Minister.
No, Mr. Speaker. No, Mr. Speaker. Because if he looked at what we are proposing, and if he supported what we are proposing, which is fixing something that Labour never fixed in all their years in office, Mr. Speaker, we are saying to the people of this country that we will disregard your home as part of your assets if you and your spouse are living in it. And number two, Mr. Speaker, you can have a deferred payments agreement if you move out of it and you're living in residential care. You can have a deferred payments agreement. But most important of all, Mr. Speaker, by putting the huge investment that we are making now in health and social care, And we are allowing for the first time the people of this country to insure themselves against the potentially catastrophic, the otherwise catastrophic costs of dementia or Alzheimer's, Mr. Speaker. And even if you're not one of those people who suffer from those afflictions, we are taking away the anxiety from millions of people up and down the land about their homes.
Keir Starmer.
I think the Prime Minister just described the broken system he said he was fixing. So it's certainly not a straight answer. Let's have another go. Let's have another go. He used to say, I see they turned up this week, Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, he used to say that...
Sorry. I don't think I need any further. Yesterday we had a very good example of the house being at its best in that church, in that cathedral. Please, let's show some respect. I want to be able to hear not only the Prime Minister but the Leader of the Opposition. Shouting each other down doesn't do you or your constituents any good. We need to hear the questions, and I certainly need to hear the answers. And if anybody doesn't like it, please leave now. Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, it's not a complicated question, so let's have another go. He used to say that nobody would have to sell their home to pay for their care. It's in his manifesto right here. On the basis of that promise, he then put up tax on every working person in the country. So has he done what he promised and ensured that nobody will have to sell their home to pay for care? Yes or no? It's not complicated.
Prime Minister.
No, it's not complicated, Mr. Speaker, because what we're doing is disregarding your home as part of the assets that we calculate. So if you go down to £100,000, that's the beginning where we will ask you to contribute. But your home is not included in that, Mr. Speaker. And they have absolutely no plan. They've spent decades failing to address this. And only a few weeks ago, Mr. Speaker, they failed to vote for the £36 billion that will enable us to fix this and to help people up and down the country, not just to fix the social care problem, but to pay for people to live in their own homes, Mr. Speaker, and receive the care they need in their homes. That's what this One Nation Conservative government is doing. Why won't it support it?
Mr. Speaker, he's had two opportunities to stand by his manifesto commitment and he's not taken them. Well, it says he just has. So let's test this in the real world, Prime Minister. Under the Prime Minister's plans, a person with assets worth about £100,000, most of it tied up in their home, would have to pay £80,000. They'd lose almost everything. How on earth does the Prime Minister think that they can get their hands on that kind of money without selling their home?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to have a third go trying to clear this up in the befuddled mind of the right honourable gentleman opposite, because it is important, and the fact is that the party opposite have totally failed to address it. They haven't had the guts to fix this in all their time in office. It's something left over. It's something left over from the Attlee government, and we are fixing it. And let me repeat for the third time, Mr. Speaker, since your home is disregarded. Number two, even if you have a second home in your residential care, Mr. Speaker, you have a deferred payments agreement if you want. And number three, Mr. Speaker, we are allowing you to insure yourself for the first time against the catastrophic consequences by capping it at 86,000, Mr. Speaker. And now he stood on a manifesto to put the cap where, Mr. Speaker? At £100,000, Mr. Speaker.
Keir Starmer.
The question was very simple, and it's the question all of his backbenchers on it. If you've got a house worth about £120,000, £140,000, how do you find £80,000+ without selling your home? It's common sense. Strip away the bluster, strip away the deflection, strip away the refusal to answer the question. There's a simple truth, and this is why the Prime Minister won't address it. People will still be forced to sell their homes to pay for care. That accounts... Why did they... Look at the vote the other day to see the answer to that question. They'll still be forced to sell their home. It's another broken promise. Just like he promised that he wouldn't put up tax. Just like he promised 40 new hospitals. Just like he promised a rail revolution in the north. Mr. Speaker, who knows if he'll make it to the next election? But if he does, how does he expect anyone to take him and his promises seriously?
Mr. Speaker, yet again he raises the rail revolution in the north. And the 3 new high-speed lines, Mr. Speaker, 96 billion pounds. Nothing like it. Again, nothing like it, Mr. Speaker. Nothing like it for a century. And just for the advantage of I didn't even know this. I was in a state of complete innocence about this last week, Mr. Speaker. But it turns out that the right honourable gentleman actually campaigned against HS2 altogether. Said it would be devastating and said it should be cancelled. I can tell you something, Mr. Speaker. HS2 runs through my constituency as well, and I took a decision, even though it's been very tough for my constituents. I took a decision that it was the right thing to do for the long-term interests of the whole country. How can they possibly trust that man?
Mr. Speaker, I think he's lost his place in his notes again. The only thing he's delivering is high taxes, high prices and low growth. I'm not sure the Prime Minister should be shouting about that. And it isn't just broken promises, it's also about fairness. Everyone needs protection against massive health and care costs. But under his plans, someone with assets worth about £100,000 will lose almost everything. Yet somebody with assets of about £1 million will keep almost everything. It's just like their 2017 manifesto all over again. Only this time, something has changed. He's picked the pockets of working people to protect the estates of the wealthiest. How could he possibly have managed to devise a working-class dementia tax?
Prime Minister!
Mr. Speaker, I think I've answered that question 3 times already. This does more for working people up and down the country than Labour ever did. Because we're actually solving the problem that they failed to address. We're disregarding your housing asset altogether, Mr. Speaker, while you're in it. And he talks about jobs, he talks about working people. Well, let me just remind him. There's just one key statistic that people should bear in mind. It's now almost a month after furlough ended. He talks about the economy, Mr. Speaker. There are now more people in work than there were before the pandemic began. And that's because of the policies this government has pursued.
Here's Starr.
Mr. Speaker, there's no getting away from it. Working people are being asked to pay twice. During their working lives, they'll pay much more tax in national insurance, whilst those living off wealth are protected. And then when they retire, Mr. Speaker, they face having to sell their home when the wealthiest won't have to do so. It's a classic con game, a Covent Garden pickpocketing operation. The Prime Minister's the front man, distracting people with wild promises and panto speeches, whilst his Chancellor dips his hand in their pocket. But now the Prime Minister's routine is falling flat. His Chancellor is worried that people are getting wise. His backbenchers say it's embarrassing. Your words. Your words. And senior people in Downing Street tell the BBC it's just not working. Is everything okay, Prime Minister?
Prime Minister!
Well, Mr. Speaker, I tell you what's not working. It's that line of attack. Because I just want to repeat. I want to repeat the crucial point, Mr. Speaker. We're delivering for the working people of this country. We're delivering for the people of this country, and we're fixing the problems that they thought could never be fixed. We're doing the things that they thought were impossible. And let me repeat, there are now more people in work in this country, jobs up, with their wages going up, Mr. Speaker, than there were before the pandemic began. And that is because of the policies that this government has followed. Whether it's on rolling out the vaccine, if you remember, that he opposed, whether it's on investment that he opposed. He did, Mr. Speaker, he didn't want to invest in the vaccine task force. I seem to remember. Or whether it is making the strategic investments that we have. If we listened to Captain Hindsight, Mr. Speaker, we would have no HS2 at all, because that was what he stood for. And if we listened to him, we would all still be in lockdown, Mr. Speaker.
Can the Prime Minister confirm that he will use the rest of the UK's presidency of COP to urge countries around the world to make good on the pledges that they made in Glasgow? And does he agree with me that decarbonisation can create millions of jobs across the UK and around the world?
Prime Minister.
I totally agree with my right honourable friend who's right about this and many other things. And that's why our transition to green jobs is supporting 440,000 new green high-wage, high-skilled jobs across the UK, and the breakthrough agenda that we had endorsed at COP26, I believe will support between 20 and 30 million jobs across the world by 2030, and I think that's probably a gross underestimate.
We now come to the Leader of the SNP, Ian Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'm sure you will wish to join me and indeed the rest of the House in welcoming the moderator of the Church of Scotland to the gallery today, Lord Wallace, and to thank him for his sage words at his sermon this morning. Mr. Speaker, the past few weeks have shown this Tory government at its very worst. A Tory sleaze and corruption scandal on a scale not seen since the 1990s. Tory cuts and tax rises that will leave millions of people worse off. A litany of broken promises, from HS2 to carbon capture, social care, the triple lock on pensions. And who can possibly forget the £20 billion bridge to Ireland that evaporated into thin air? At the centre of all this is one man, a Prime Minister who is floundering in failure. So, can I ask the Prime Minister, with his party falling in the polls, his colleagues briefing against him, has he considered calling it a day before he's pushed out the door?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I think what the people of this country want to hear is less talk about politics and politics, and they want to talk about what the government is doing for the people of Scotland. And what the Scottish government is doing for the people of Scotland, which isn't enough, Mr. Speaker. But what we will do, he talks about infrastructure investment, and I can tell him that if he will wait till till Friday or later this week, he's going to hear about what we're going to do with the Union Connectivity Review to ensure that the people of Scotland are served with the connections that they need, and which the Scottish Nationalist Party has totally failed to put in.
Ian Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That certainly wasn't an answer to the question I asked, but we're used to that. And I didn't expect the Prime Minister to take responsibility, because he never does. But this isn't just about the chaos in the Conservative Party. It's about the state of the United Kingdom under his failing leadership. Because whilst the Prime Minister spends his time hunting for chatty pigs and staving off a leadership challenge from the Treasury, in the real world, Mr. Speaker, people are suffering a Tory cost of living crisis. Brexit is hitting the economy hard, but the Prime Minister can't even give a coherent speech to business. The Prime Minister's officials have lost confidence in him. Tory MPs have lost confidence in him. The letters are going in, and the public have lost confidence in him. Why is he clinging on when quite clearly he simply isn't up to the job?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I might ask the right honourable gentleman what on earth he thinks he is doing, talking about party political issues, when what the people of Scotland want to hear is what on earth the Scottish National Government is doing. They're falling in the polls, Mr. Speaker. their cause, yes they are, their cause is falling in the polls. And considering their manifold failures on tax, on education, and all the things the people of Scotland really care about, I'm not surprised. And I can see some agreement on the benches opposite.
Jonathan Lord.
Mr. Speaker, I celebrate the recent successes of Woking College, my local sixth form college, and I welcome the recent government investment for a new teaching block, which will allow it to expand. Many colleges and students find BTECs to be a really valuable qualification and course, enabling progress into higher education and skilled employment. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that we should protect student choice and keep BTECs as an option for students?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we will continue. I thank my honourable friend. We will continue to fund some BTECs where there's a clear need for them. But I must stress to him that we've got to close the gap between the things that people study and the needs of business and employers, and that's what T-levels are designed to do.
Caroline Lucas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rarely agree with the Prime Minister, but last week when he said that COP26 showed that we can end our reliance on fossil fuels, I did agree with him. But that begs the question as to why his government is pressing ahead not just with the Cambo oil field, but with 39 other oil, gas and coal developments, which would amount to 3 times the UK's current annual climate emissions. Now, I don't want an answer about all the things he thinks he is doing on cars and cash and trees. I want him to tell the House if he will leave those fossil fuels in the ground, will he cancel those projects? And does he recognise that if he doesn't, he will need to ask for forgiveness, not just for losing his place in a speech, but for losing the future of our children?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we are not only powering past coal, going to an end to fossil fuel reliance in our energy generation at all by 2024, which is an absolutely stunning thing ahead of countries around the world. I'm glad that she's praising me for that. The Cambo oil field, as she knows, is for study by an independent regulator. But what we have also done, and led the world in this, Mr. Speaker, is stopped the financing of overseas hydrocarbons. And that is a fantastic thing which the whole world followed.
Dr. Andrew Murris.
Mr. Speaker, net zero, levelling up and building back better can't happen unless we have a massive increase in the supply of critical tech minerals like silicon, copper and lithium. But Beijing controls most of them. Noting China's recent tech minerals leverage on Japan, does he agree with me that the success of our green industrial revolution hinges on advancing our indigenous Silicon Valley? And free of the EU, what fiscal incentives can he now provide to make it happen at pace?
Minister.
I thank my honourable friend for that. And as he knows, there are some very, very interesting and potentially very lucrative sources of minerals such as lithium in this country, whose exploration, discovery and reuse we are encouraging. But secondly, on the tax point that he rightly raises, we're going to use free ports to ensure that we support them as hubs for the processing of those critical minerals here in the UK.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 2014, my constituent's 3-year-old son, Freddie Hussey, was killed by an unsafe trailer. Every year, 30% of people who do the B+E test fail it. And now the government is abolishing that test, unleashing thousands of untrained, untested, unsafe drivers onto our roads. Why is the government breaking its promise to grieving families to make towing and our roads safer?
Prime Minister.
I thank her very much for raising this with me, and I'm very sorry to hear about the tragic circumstances of Freddie's death. And what we want to do is to free up B&E licensing time so that we get more people qualified as HGV drivers. But that cannot compromise road safety, as she rightly says. So we will review the legislation and its consequences at regular intervals.
Thank you, Speaker. On the 2nd to 5th of December, Lincoln will be hosting its world-famous Christmas market in the grounds of the historic Lincoln Castle. And it will be remiss of me not to invite my right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, and yourself, Speaker, and all other colleagues, even the opposition front bench, to come and enjoy the marvellous long weekend of festivities. However, what is less than marvellous for my constituents is the levelling down of Lincolnshire's highway maintenance grant by 25% on 2019 to 2020 levels. Can my right honourable friend use his influence to cause the Treasury and DfT to revisit this unfortunate decision? Restoring this grant back to 1920 levels is imperative to the safety of my constituents, whether in vehicles, cycling or walking, as I would hope my right honourable friend would agree.
Yeah. Minister.
Well, I thank you very much for his question. I'll do my utmost, as I'm sure all other. He's invited everybody. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be going to Lincoln, I hope. But I'm sure that my right honourable friend, the Secretary of State for Transport, would have listened very carefully to what he had to say.
Hannah Baldwin.
Inexplicable, Mr Speaker, is how former Vaccine Task Force Chair Kate Bingham described his government's decision to cancel its contract with Livingston-based vaccine developer Valneva, a company the Prime Minister has himself visited. She also noted how shoddily Valneva have been treated and how damaging his government's decision has been for UK life sciences, exports and for jobs in my Livingston constituency, where a state-of-the-art vaccine manufacturing plant now lies unfinished. There has been no apology to the incorrect statements in the House, so can the Prime Minister please meet with me and representatives from Valneva, and will he tell me whether his government has tabled any proposals to reach an amicable resolution which was promised at the dispatch box, and if not, when will he do so?
Minister. Yes, I thank her very much. And I was personally very disappointed when we couldn't get approval for the Valneva vaccine in the way that we had hoped, and I know how disappointing that was to colleagues in Scotland. I will certainly make sure that she gets the relevant meeting. But what we are doing is investing massively in this country's vaccine capability across the country, so that we are prepared for the next pandemic. And I very much hope that Valneva will be part of that.
Nigel Bills.
Thank you. We know that serious side effects from the COVID vaccines are very rare, but for my constituent Sarah Kite that wasn't the case, and she suffered a very serious reaction, leaving her in constant pain and losing most of her eyesight, and she now can't work. The Prime Minister successfully and quite rightly speeded up all the vaccine processes except one, the vaccine damage payment system. Can we now get on with making those payments so people who have suffered these very, very serious reactions can get the financial support they need?
Prime Minister.
Yes. I thank him very much, and I just want to reassure him and indeed to reassure the House and the country that cases such as the very sad one that he raises are extremely, extremely rare, and we're putting more money in to gather evidence for claims such as the one that he describes. But I want to repeat perhaps the most important message I can get across again today, Mr. Speaker. I want to repeat how vital that vaccination programme is, how safe it is, and how important it is that everybody who is eligible gets their booster when they're called.
Matthew Pennington.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The government's integrated review concluded that the Chinese state poses a systemic challenge to our national security, and the Prime Minister has made clear that when it comes to China, we must remain vigilant about our critical national infrastructure. Can he therefore confirm today, unequivocally, that plans for China General Nuclear to own and operate its own plant in Bradwell in Essex have been abandoned, and explain to the House precisely how and when his government intends to remove CGN's interest from the Sizewell C nuclear project?
Prime Minister.
I thank him very much for his question, a very important issue that he raises, and clearly one of the consequences of our approach on critical national infrastructure, the National Security and Investment Bill, is that we don't want to see undue influence by potentially adversarial countries in our critical national infrastructure, and so that's why we've taken the decisions that we have. And on Bradwell, there will be more information forthcoming. But what I don't want to do, Mr. Speaker, is pitchfork away wantonly all Chinese investment in this country, or minimise the importance of this country of having a trading relationship with China.
Daniel Kuczynski.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister will be very pleased that Shrewsbury Conservatives are doing everything possible to help Neil Shastri Hurst the excellent candidate in North Shropshire, but he will also know that the #1 issue affecting Salopians at the moment is the £312 million that we've secured for a modernisation of our A&E services. This has suffered terrible delays over the last 8 years, leading to a worsening of our A&E services for local patients. Will he do everything possible to help us get this finally across the line so that we can provide safe A&E services for all the people of Shropshire and Mid Wales?
Prime Minister.
I thank him very much, and that's one of the reasons why we're investing £36 billion more in our NHS now to help cope with the backlog, the extra winter pressures, particularly on A&E. But it's also a reason why the booster programme is so vital, because we don't want those beds filled with COVID patients, and we don't want delayed discharges either.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So far, his government have found billions for nuclear, but nothing for the Scottish carbon capture cluster, nothing for pump storage hydro, and now are at risk of failing the tidal stream generation, a technology Scotland's a world leader in. Now, the ask is for a £71 million ring-fenced marine pot in next month's energy auction. So the Prime Minister's got a choice: provide this money and allow continued scale-up and commercial success based on a UK supply chain, or see the manufacturing jobs move abroad. What's it going to be?
Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm so glad he asked that question, because I can tell him, and I can tell his right honourable friend, the leader of the SNP in Westminster, that we will be including a support for tidal stream. For tidal stream in the upcoming to the value of £20 million. Come on. Not to be sneezed at. Not to be sneezed at, Mr. Speaker. In the upcoming Contract for Difference auction, I've met representatives of Scottish Tidal Power. I think it's fantastic, original, inventive what they're doing. We want to support it.
Sir David Evelyn.
Mr. Speaker, Prime Minister, I've been out campaigning with our excellent candidate in Bexley, Sidcup, Louis French, for the by-election, and responses on the doorstep are very good. The opposition know nothing as usual. Can my right honourable friend confirm that he will continue to implement our 2019 manifesto and implement policies to ensure that we build up better for the whole country, including London, because this is what the electors in Bexley want?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I can, and I have happy memories over many years of campaigning with my honourable friend in Bexley and Sidcup. And I can tell him that we are delivering on our agenda for the people of London, putting 20,000 more police out on the street and making sure that they get to outer London boroughs as well, and making sure that Londoners do not suffer from the crazed outer London tax that would see motorists penalised by the Labour mayor for driving into their own city.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Cherwell Larder in Kidlington does incredible work serving nearly 2,000 of my most vulnerable constituents, but at the moment there simply isn't enough food to go around. And this is a national crisis. Stock for charities like Fair Share is down 30%, in part due to the same supply chain issues that are affecting supermarkets. So will the Prime Minister help the Cherwell Larder, firstly by restoring the funding to Fair Share, but also what more can he do to incentivise businesses to give away surplus food this winter so that no family need go hungry this Christmas?
Prime Minister. I want to thank her for raising Fair Share and what they're doing to support people this winter and indeed at all times. But I would also say that my experience of business is that they do an amazing job of contributing to this effort. Iceland is one of the companies that springs to mind. But on the supply chains, we're addressing it night and day, and we are seeing some of the problems starting to ease. They are the result, Mr. Speaker, of the British and the world economy coming back into life, which, quite frankly, would not have happened if we listened to the gentleman opposite. Just a reminder.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, was bang on Monday when he spoke about ending the unfairness of our high energy intensive industries paying more than they pay overseas. So we know he is a friend to steel in Scunthorpe. So will he continue to do all that he can to ensure that my world-class steelmakers are on a fair footing?
Prime Minister.
Yeah, I thank my honourable friend and everything she does for steel and for Scunthorpe, and I can tell her that I do believe that British Steel has suffered as a result of decisions taken years and years ago from unfair energy costs. We need to fix it, and this government is getting on and making another of the long-term changes we're instituting, Mr. Speaker. We're putting in the nuclear baseload that this country has long been deprived of.
John Speller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Prime Minister, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be introducing a bill to ban the import of hunting trophies. Not only does that have widespread public support and support from opposition parties, but in the past the principle has been supported by Conservative manifestos, the Queen's Speech, and indeed by yourself. So, Prime Minister, on Friday the 10th of December, will you tell your whips not to block the bill, but to let it go forward so we can work together and end this vile trade as soon as possible?
The honourable gentleman is completely right, and that's why we're going to introduce legislation this Parliament to ban the import of hunting trophies and delivering the change that we promised, and I hope that he will support it.
Sir Mike Penning.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister cheered all of my constituents up when he came to South West Hertfordshire and said we were going to have a new hospital. Sadly, Prime Minister, even though the money's there, the local management of our trust have blocked it. They're going to refurbish Watford and not give us a brand new hospital on a greenfield site, which is what we want. Prime Minister, will you meet me and some of my constituents to unblock this and tell the NHS they need to build a new hospital for Hemel Hempstead?
Prime Minister.
I'm grateful to my friend. I do remember the issue being raised with me when I was with him. I'll be very happy to secure a meeting with my right honourable friend, the Secretary of State for Health, and who I'm sure will be able to unblock things one way or the other.
John Littlesome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Scots stood slack-jawed this week with astonishment at the news that the Prime Minister has abandoned his DUP bridge to Northern Ireland. Perhaps he'll offer hot air balloons for the crossing instead and inflate them himself. Broken bridge promises to Scotland, broken rail promises to Northern England. With buyer's remorse consuming the Tory backbenchers, who does he think will be defenestrated first? His hapless Tory leader in Scotland or himself?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to remind the Scottish Nationalist Party that they are there to represent the people of Scotland and to deliver better services, better transport, better healthcare, and what we are delivering. He talks about transport, Mr. Speaker. I'll tell him what I said to the leader of the SNP in Westminster. What we are delivering is the first thoroughgoing review of union connectivity, so that we look properly at all those roads, the A75, the A77, the A1, all those vital connections for the people of Scotland that have been neglected by the SNP, that this government is going to fix.
Final question, Miriam Kay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm absolutely delighted with the £500 million Start for Life funding that was announced in the budget. And my right honourable friend knows from personal experience how important those early years are, whether that's parenting advice, access to healthcare or age-appropriate theme parks. So does he agree that rolling out family hubs to 75 local authority areas is a great start? But can he confirm that if this is a successful programme, the government's aim is to roll it out across the whole country?
Prime Minister.
Yes. I thank her very much, and she's totally right in what she says about Start for Life, and I'm just seeing if my right honourable friend is still in her place, which she's vanished. But I want to thank my right honourable friend, the member for Northampton, because she has championed this for many, many years. She is right. Mr. Speaker, investment in kids' early years is absolutely crucial. That's why this government has begun Start for Life. And yes, if it works, Mr. Speaker, we will roll it out across the country.
We're now going to come to the urgent questions. For those who need to leave, please do so. You're right. Too lively. I know. You're right. See you.